All right, whenever you're ready.
Well, great. Thanks, Scott. Thanks to SpiceCorps, and thanks to all of you for the opportunity for me to represent CBeyond here tonight. It's a great opportunity to kind of talk to you a little bit about and have a conversation about technology, kind of what CBeyond's been doing really over the last 10 years, as well as really some exciting new products that we are bringing to market today. It's really also, really appropriate for us to be kind of chatting with you in that CBeyond has historically been very much focused on the small business market. And so there's a lot of great things that we can kind of talk about here in our conversation. One of the things that I know I'm in a difficult position here in being between you and the food, so I cut my 50 slides down to about 10. So we'll try to keep this presentation brief as the smell of the food kind of wafts into this area here. So I'll try to keep things going pretty quickly. So, in terms of CBeyond, how many of you here kind of know CBeyond, know the name, or maybe have worked with us in the past? A few of you, yeah. So CBeyond started a little over 10 years ago. We're a company that kind of really grew out of a group of entrepreneurs and people that have been involved in small business over our careers. And CBeyond kind of looked at the technology landscape for the small business segment and looked at how small businesses tend to procure technology services, be it network services or telephony services. This is back in the late 90s. And there was really kind of a real gap in terms of how small business procured technology and the experience that they were receiving from those service providers and what mid-market and large organizations were getting in the marketplace. And so when we kind of talked to those small business customers, they described a buying experience of when they need to get a T1 or some kind of telephony services, of having to call into a call center, talk to somebody that typically didn't know what facilities were available at their location. It was generally a different person that they talked to every time they called in. And then when they finally did place the order, the provisioning time was typically extensive. And then from a support perspective, it really was challenging, that they were felt like they were on the bottom of the pile as it relates to getting their issues resolved. And so CBeyond really looked at that as an opportunity to really kind of offer something in the marketplace that small businesses hadn't received. And so CBeyond was formed in the late 90s, and we really focused on delivering really kind of two different technology categories to small business. We focused on delivering network services, T1-based services at that time, as well as telephony services, so SIP trunking. We were one of the first companies to kind of bring that to market. We were the first company to bring that into the small business segment, as well as being able to offer things like PBX services. And so that's kind of where we grew out of, is kind of out of this kind of need that existed in that small business segment, and just how badly the companies that were incumbent in that market, badly a job they were doing, and we really seek to improve that. So we really want to change that, that marketplace. So really what CBeyond is today is we really position ourselves as a technology ally for small and medium-sized businesses. We do that both in the historical product categories that we've typically offered in network and PBX, but we're also rapidly moving into cloud services as well. And so our focus then is to deliver not only cloud services and communication services through an enterprise-grade network. We really partner with tier 1 manufacturers in terms of build out of our network, the capabilities of our network, and the stability and the speed, as well as our data centers, and being able to provide enterprise class capabilities from a cloud computing perspective. And so really what we're trying to do is we're trying to level the playing field for small business and medium-sized business, to where you have large competitors that are able to gain access to enormous capabilities from a cloud computing perspective or a networking perspective, that it's just simply cost prohibitive for a small business to be able to build that out on their own. And so what we're really doing is building out those resources and being able to give a small business a slice of that capability, and to really focus on leveling the playing field between that small business and their larger competitors. And so excellence is really kind of in our DNA as well. We have over 60,000 customers. Over a third of those customers come from referrals from our existing customers. And we're really proud of that level of service that we're able to offer into the small and medium-sized business. So when I talk about what we have to offer, we really have that enterprise network. that's basically built on 10 gigabits of symmetrical bandwidth, kind of nationwide. We operate in about 15 localities all over the United States. We also then have cloud services. We own our own data centers. We build out our own infrastructure. We architect that with really kind of some of the best architects in the world in terms of making sure that the capabilities that we're constructing is something that's going to provide competitive advantage to our customers. And then on top of that, we provide really industry-leading service. So we offer 24/7 service for not only our network, our PBX products, as well as our cloud products. Those are all onshore support. We're really proud of the response time that we have on that, and our customers are responding by referring us to their peers in the marketplace. This is our 12th year in business. We have nearly $500 million in revenue. We're publicly traded on the NASDAQ, and we are debt-free, which is really a unique position for a company of our size, our scale, in the market that we operate in. And like I mentioned, we do own our data centers rather than colo and someone else's. When I talk about how CBeyond from a service perspective stacks up to our competitors, the service provider space is a really difficult space to do well. It's a really difficult service to be able to make your customers happy. And this is kind of where this data here is really built on our referral scores in terms of how likely are our customers to refer us to some of their colleagues in the marketplace. And as you can see, we perform nearly twice as well as our competitors. And so that's a really kind of unique thing in terms of where we have built out really enterprise class infrastructure and to be able to snap on award-winning service and really focus on the needs of our small business customers and mid-sized business customers. And so that's not kind of a secondary or a tertiary priority for us. It is the priority. And that's kind of really what's reflected here in our customer satisfaction and reference scores.
AT&T should be lower.
What's that?
Said AT&T should be lower than 60%.
Oh, shame.
Forbes recently named us as one of the most trustworthy companies in America. So being publicly traded, we accurately represent who we are, what we're going to do to the marketplace, and they've kind of recognized us for that fact. We're also known by in the industry, especially from a cloud services perspective, been recognized by Microsoft as back-to-back worldwide partner of the year, specifically focused on hosting and Hyper-V. So we've made some significant investments over the last couple of years, and those investments is kind of what we're kind of standing our next generation of services on top, which I'll be talking a little bit later in our conversation. So let's kind of go into our services. Let me walk you through a little bit of what we've done historically, as well as kind of what we're evolving into. So we kind of look at cloud services as an opportunity for us. We're a service provider providing network services and telephony services to our customer historically. And we really believe that cloud services, and what I mean by cloud is really an economic model of the ability to rent capacity, be it infrastructure, platforms, or software, and be able to kind of build that into the portfolio of services that we already have with our customers, and be able to provide network connectivity and telephony services. And so we really kind of look at this where there's a lot of providers in the marketplace that either provide network connectivity or they provide some form of cloud service. And generally, well, really, you have to have both in order to access those cloud services, right? You have to be able to connect your office to those compute resources that you may be renting somewhere in the world. And really what we're seeking to do is to really simplify that, to be able to couple our network with those cloud services and be able to take a lot of the risk and finger pointing out of the provisioning and stability of those services. And so really what we're doing is we're basically creating a private network for our customers and the ability to provision network services, and that you're able to access your technology resources that you're renting from us in the cloud in a very secure way to where you're not traversing over shared access. We're able to kind of keep those things segmented from other user traffic. And we're able to do that from a carrier-grade latency perspective, quality of service guarantees, like I mentioned, security, reliable end-to-end, and kind of that single throat-to-choke value proposition that takes kind of a lot of the finger pointing, and as a result, really improves what the mean time to resolution is for when you do have that issue. We're able to kind of troubleshoot that thing all the way from the customer prem equipment all the way through to the virtual machine or whatever that resource is within our data center. So if you think about our service offerings, I've kind of categorized these things kind of in kind of what we would expect from a cloud services perspective, right? So these are really three different technology categories: infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and software as a service. And one of the things I've kind of included in infrastructure as a service, if you really think about it, is kind of historical network connectivity that you would get from a service provider. Because honestly, it is an infrastructure as a service, right? The service provider has built out their network, built on leading manufacturers' technologies, and we're renting you capability, connectivity on that network. And so really, network is kind of an infrastructure as a service. We also are a mobility provider, so we're able to provide mobile devices, tie it into our PBX products and our telephony services. But the areas I'm really going to focus here today is going to be on our infrastructure perspective. And when I talk about infrastructure, I'm talking about specifically about compute resources in the cloud. The additional offerings that we have, just so you're aware, we're able to offer database as a service. We have just a significant capability around SQL in not only a shared, but a dedicated environment. So we're able to offer enormous capabilities around SQL as a service, for example. We have a huge team of DBAs, and their job is to kind of do that care and feeding of that database environment, so that it kind of gets that small business out of the business of having to manage disk space, monitor the event logs within their SQL environment, to do all that care and feeding that really takes up a lot of time. So we're able to kind of take that responsibility from that small business so they can focus on specifically on their database and the management of their data rather than the platform itself. We also do hosting, and we do that on a very focused way in terms of around Microsoft Service and .NET. And so we host web properties for small businesses all the way up through the Fortune 1000 as well. Really kind of focused on that alignment with .NET that then links into our database services and our infrastructure services and of course our network services as well. We do some really unique things around hosting in terms of route optimization worldwide, and we use technologies from companies like Internet to be able to kind of do dynamic routing to get the best routes to the person requesting the data. So we really have kind of that robust capability in terms of what we're doing there in hosting. Backup as a service kind of goes without explanation. And then certainly going to the email stack and to be able to do Exchange as a service. We're really one of the top 10 providers in terms of the number of mailboxes we manage worldwide right now under Microsoft. And then also, kind of finally, is our PBX services, and be able to do things like, drive, SIP trunking, be able to kind of use our PSTN access infrastructure worldwide, dial tone access for those of you that are non-technical, but also then able to kind of derive IP-based endpoints within our customers' offices as well, and do that on a multi-point basis. So it really gives a small business the ability to leverage what has historically unified communications really only been available to the large business, right? So, you have a unified dial plan among offices and really all over the country, being able to facilitate work from home and a lot of other things, and then linking those into our mobility services as well.
Is your email product, is it just hosted Exchange, or do you have like other proprietary internal mail platforms that you?
Today we use hosted Exchange. That's our
you
platform
only do
today.
Exchange?
What's that?
You only do Exchange?
Correct,
Okay.
yes. Yep. So the thing I'm really excited about today is really kind of the evolution of our cloud services, and specifically around infrastructure. And this is, I wanted to introduce that to you, Total Cloud Data Center. And so if you kind of think about CBeyond, we have really kind of three offerings. Then we have what we call Total Network. It's really the three T's for SMBs. So we have Total Network, we have Total Voice, and we have Total Cloud. And so I'll kind of dig a little bit into Total Cloud so that we can kind of move on and get some food here. So I won't take too much time around this, but it's a really exciting offering. And so, really what is Total Cloud Data Center? It's really your own, as a small business, your slice of the cloud. And so what we've really kind of focused on is building our infrastructure off of enterprise class technology. And so if you look at many other infrastructure as a service providers in the marketplace, they are buying commodity CPU, commodity network, the cheapest possible, commodity storage, right? And they're often hooking that up either on, in very kind of slow, low IOP, I'll use another technical term, IOP capability within their data centers, and that really results in poor application performance. And so we start to wonder why our applications aren't performing as well in the cloud as they were if I were to buy that server and deploy it and invest in it in my own facility. We're also seeing that their clouds are made to suit their business model and the way that they want to sell that to their customers. And so there are many providers out there that, for example, have memory limitations on their virtual machines, for example, and those applications have to be rewritten to support, their business, model. And so what that really results in, and kind of use this analogy, you may need a Ducati to achieve a certain type of capability in your enterprise, right? You may need a very high performance environment. And when we have cloud service providers that are saying, well, I know you need a Ducati, but I can only give you 500 mopeds. It's the same aggregate performance, but you're going to need to rewrite your application so that you fit within my business model. And so we've taken a very different approach to that, and we've really kind of built out our environment on Cisco from a compute perspective. So our total cloud data center is built on the Cisco UCS platform. We are linking that together with Cisco Nexus in terms of a switching infrastructure. These are all enterprise class technologies that the largest companies are deploying within their own dedicated data centers. And then we're also backing that up with EMC storage and doing centralized fiber channel storage. And so from a performance perspective, we're able to achieve the IOPS that our customers really want, but have had difficulty getting access to as a small and medium-sized business. And then we stack on top of that really from a Microsoft perspective. Our partnership with Microsoft is extremely strong. Really our total cloud data center is based on Hyper-V 3. And so we really feel like that's a strong value proposition for the small businesses that are heavily aligned with their Microsoft stack all the way up through the applications. And so it gives us the ability to build out that Hyper-V 3 environment. Windows 2012 is what's being deployed right now. And so we're really one of the first cloud services companies to really kind of deploy this type of stack at this type of level. And so when I talk about the small and medium-sized business being able to get access to their slice of the cloud, really what we're giving you is an enterprise-class environment, enterprise-class cloud services that we're able to carve up and segment in a way that's responsible, that's secure, and that provides you the performance that you need and in a way that you can consume it and afford it. And so that's kind of CBeyond's value proposition as we kind of migrate from our historical product sets of network and PBX really into our next generation of cloud services. From a compliance perspective, we're also focused on making sure that our facilities and the business process that we use to manage your services will fit well within compliance that you may be seeking. So if you're a healthcare small business, you're going to be concerned about HIPAA. Most people that take credit cards are going to be concerned about PCI. One of the things that we've really focused on as well is our investment in SOC 2 and SOC 3 audits. And so if you kind of look at kind of historical audits that people go around to certify their facilities, it's kind of unique in that what they'll do is they'll say to the auditor, I'm good at these 20 things. I'd like you to audit me on those 20 things and then give me a great audit report that I can hand out to the marketplace so that people can have trust in my services. And so it's kind of like you're writing your own exam. And so if you happen to be good at only those 19 things in the 20, well, we'll just drop that one off and then we'll go to market with those 19 things in our audit. And really kind of what we focused on is kind of a next generation of certification is that SOC 2, SOC 3, where there's a preset defined audit requirements for us as a service provider. And it kind of goes all the way through what are our business process and how do we handle security, how do we handle data destruction, all those different attributes that are important for you as a small business to know about your cloud service provider. And so we've really kind of focused on really kind of that meaningful audit. We were really one of the first cloud services companies to come out with that SOC 2, SOC 3 compliance. And we're really proud of our forethought in terms of building out our services to comply with those things. Now, our small businesses are here to leverage that. Now, buying services from us does not make you PCI or HIPAA or SOC or PCI or HIPAA compliant. But the services that you procure from us, as you add that into your total portfolio and your total business model, as long as you perform the other things within that stack that you're responsible for, we provide a platform that really kind of fits well and gives you the highest probability to be able to certify your business on these different compliance requirements. So if you kind of think about total cloud data center and how do we structure it, how do we kind of carve up those offerings, first we talk about your total cloud data center environment. And so you can choose one of two. You can choose a shared environment, or a public environment, or private. And it's kind of similar to what you would think. We think of a public environment as being web properties that are facing the internet that are kind of open to others to access. And then private services are things that we like to keep private and internal to our own business. So our accounting applications, or kind of anything that has to do with our critical business processes that we don't want to expose to the outside world, we can host that in a private environment. We kind of put up, additional security things, dedicated VLANs, dedicated intrusion detection systems, and those types of things around that to kind of give you that virtual private environment. And then we're able to add on things into that total environment, things like additional bandwidth or additional storage. And then we're able to kind of then carve it up from a virtual compute perspective. So if you need one big virtual machine, or you need 20 smaller ones to kind of fit within your applications, you're able to kind of move the dials on that and be able to adjust the compute capacity, the storage capacity, the memory capacities that suit your requirements. And then we're able to kind of add additional add-ons like IP addresses and other things around that. So if you kind of look at our total cloud data center, it's a bit of an eye chart here, but I talk about what is our, make a selection on a private offering or a public offering. In a public offering, you're going to be getting that shared VLAN environment, common IPS, IDS. You get about 250 gigs of bandwidth, as well as about 100 gigs of fiber channel storage. In a private environment, you're getting a private VLAN network, private network firewall, and a lot of different things around IDS and IPS to be able to kind of keep your environment segmented. You get a lot more bandwidth, a lot more storage, and also server load balancing capabilities as well. So these are kind of the two different roads that you would kind of go down as you kind of engage with. Some customers have both because they have some external properties that they're looking to handle, and they have some internal applications. And so we're able to then take these different packages and slice them up. And one thing I want to talk about real quickly is our traditional network services. We provide bandwidth from T1 all the way up through high bandwidth fiber connectivity to our customers. And so what we're able to do then is to take our cloud data center product, or our total cloud data center product, and couple that with our total network product. And really what that enables our customers to do then is to be able to access CBeyond's network from their customer prem, be able to do that securely through our network facilities, and directly access their resources within our data center with really never crossing the layer 3 boundary. And so that allows us to be able to offer really secure network services, one throat to choke around where's the problem lie if something were to pop up. Really helps us to be able to manage and give us visibility into quality of service and performance and a lot of other things. And so when you think about public, what are some of the use cases around that? Testing and development, versatile computing power, non-critical applications, hosting, web hosting, data backup, those types of things. When you go into private, you're talking about private compliance-ready application hosting, multi-purpose type of environments, Active Directory integration, private cloud extensions. So we may have a web server here on the public property, but then we may want to have our SQL servers here kind of back, kind of behind a lot of security, because we don't want to expose those servers directly to the public. So what is a virtual compute bundle then? So you select your environment, you select either public or private capability, and then, as I mentioned, you're able to carve that up from a virtual compute perspective. So virtual compute being, you're able to slice and dice up your environment as you need it. How many virtual machines, how do you want to kind of take the memory and the storage, the compute that you're renting from us. And so you're able to kind of carve it up in a lot of these different ways, right? You have small, medium, large, extra large, going all the way up from 2 CPUs to 16, moving from 2 gigs of RAM to 32. All of these things are kind of included with that package, right? So you're getting kind of Windows 2012 server included, getting semantic antivirus, you're getting that 24/7 up-down service, memory, backup. And the great thing that CBeyond does as well is we actually take care of the management of the operating system as well. So we're not only managing the infrastructure and the servers and the storage and the network, but we're also extending our management up through the operating system level so that we're doing that care and feeding, we're doing the service pack updates, we're monitoring the event logs to make sure that that environment is working correctly. And so our responsibility really rises up to the operating system level. And so it really kind of alleviates that small, medium-sized business from having to, kind of worry about those things and, deal with those issues. And then kind of finally, how do you get to the cloud, right? How do you get your data off of your existing infrastructure and into a new type of paradigm? And so we offer remote migration services as well. We're able to kind of help customers via our engineering organization to kind of move your data up into a virtual machine or dedicated machine within our infrastructure. And so it really kind of provides that hand-holding that's really necessary to kind of help that migration happen. So just to conclude, we didn't realize we had this one too. So initial evolution of our Total Cloud Data Center product, as well as being able to certify certain applications that are specific to small and medium-sized businesses so that they don't have to make the calculations. For example, if I want to put QuickBooks into the cloud, how much compute do I need, right? And so, or whatever I might want to put for an application. So we're kind of working through kind of certifying, giving customers guidelines around, what type of resources are typically required for putting those services within our service portfolio. And so we're really kind of focusing on Total Cloud Data Center prepackaged configurations that we would certify. We're simply picking a number of the most common applications that our customers have identified they would use. So in October, we're working on QuickBooks and Peachtree and Office and file servers and Act. And then in November, we're bringing in Abacus and Dentrex and Goldmine, Constant Contact, the POS capabilities around QuickBooks. And we're seeking to kind of build out a marketplace of certified applications for our customers to kind of simplify the process of what they would need. So, any questions? Went through really quickly. I know the food's waiting. Went through a lot of material here.
Well, I know that you have you own your own data centers.
Correct.
And you personally are based out of Dallas, and the company's based out of Atlanta.
Yes.
What is your data center presence in Texas?
So we have a data center right now. We have some data rising at Infomart today.
Okay.
And that's really hosting our legacy PBX product. Mm-hmm. So that is a colo facility, but in terms of our cloud presence, we have a data center that we own in Louisville, Kentucky. Okay. That's a dedicated SOC 3 facility. That's not a colo facility. That's built for specifically focused on delivering cloud services. Mm-hmm. And we also have another facility in Atlanta that we also own. And actually, we're also in the process of landing a data center, kind of here in the western United States as well. Okay. So that'll be kind of the total of 3 data centers that we're going to be primarily servicing.
SpiceWorks?
What's that?
How long have you been with SpiceWorks?
I know we've been working with SpiceWorks for probably over a year at least, and it was kind of made sense for us to kind of be involved with SpiceWorks, given that your focus on the small business market. And certainly our historical focus on the small business market. So,
2 million users.
What's that?
2 million users.
Absolutely, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yep.
I just gave you one of those. I got nothing. I work for a very large company, and nothing that I would say. Everything that you're aiming for is great. Mm-hmm. I just don't see as being differentiating from what I supply as Verizon. So,
okay.
I work for Verizon Terramark.
Yep.
And we supply just about the same stuff.
Mm-hmm.
How does my product differ from yours?